Ms. Lansky and Partners President Lee Carter and Fox News contributor Liz Peek. It's great to have both of you with us. Liz, I'm going to come right to you on the tariff news. Market's obviously not happy about this today, but there's other issues in the marketplace as well, foreign policy stuff, Ukraine stuff too. But still, they don't like this notion of tariffs. Whereas I look at it and say he's negotiating, even if the tariffs stay at the highest level and are implemented in this way, and there isn't negotiation down the line, they still will be offset by some of his other policy. And so ultimately, it's not going to impact the consumer the way MSNBC or CNN is telling you that it will.
Well, first of all, we know during the first Trump administration that it did not impact this consumer, right? And they were totally right. I think Wilbur Ross made a big argument about this, that this was tariffs against China primarily, that China would basically absorb much of the tariff because, in fact, they were subsidizing their foreign exports illegally, dishonestly, and so they basically ate that. This is different now because now we're going to countries that I don't think you can make that argument that Canada's supporting their industries and so forth. But Jackie, what I think about this is there's going to be disruption from this. There may be some impact on consumers in terms of prices going up. This is for a long-term goal. This is to truly bring manufacturing back to the United States, something we talked about, something that Biden talked about. Biden went about it by giving out big tax incentives and tax breaks and other kinds of gimmies to the companies. What's the difference in a sense? I mean, you're in that way, you're taking government money, taxpayer money, and funding that resurgence of activity in the U.S. In this case, you're doing something similar, but I sort of feel like it's a cleaner approach in a way.
And Lee, I think that's part of the point is that Donald Trump was very clear on what he's trying to do. Biden didn't take down the tariffs that were put in place before because they were working. But when Donald Trump talks about the reciprocity, the reciprocal nature of this, then I feel like he's actually scoring points and people are saying, aha, now I understand.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's so many people out there who are saying that this is going to be a nightmare and they're really, really hysterical about the impact it's going to have on the consumer. We're not yet seeing that in the polling. There is polling that suggests there's about 40% who are saying, I'm not so sure he's doing the right thing here. There's 35% say he definitely is. But there's 25% Americans who say, you know what, I want to wait and see. I think this might be a negotiating strategy, and I think it's in our best interest. They're giving him the benefit of the doubt. Not as many people are talking about that. The benefit of the doubt is so important, and the president still has it. And I think they look at this, they're proud of the country, they're proud of him standing up for what America should have, and they want to see jobs come back. There's a lot of concern out there about the everyman. So I actually think he's much more popular than people are giving credit for.
You know, to me, it's about ripping off the Band-Aid, and nobody's ever been strong enough to do it, even though they know this is what you have to do. And so he's doing that. At the same time, he's bringing other players to the table and getting foreign investment here. We had the big SoftBank deal. We had Apple announcement. And then today, this other big announcement. It was a huge economic win. Chip giant TSMC making a multi-billion-dollar investment in America.
This $100 billion in new investment will go into building 5 cutting-edge fabrication facilities in the great state that we just discussed, Arizona, and will create thousands of jobs, many thousands of jobs, and high-paying jobs. In total, today's announcement brings Taiwan semiconductor investments to about $165 billion they've started already, among the largest new foreign direct investments in the United States. You're probably talking about 25,000 jobs, but it'll get bigger and bigger with time.
I mean, look at this. Biden had to give the subsidies out and the free money out to be able to do it. He's bringing the money in.
Yeah, and again, the difference is Biden was spending taxpayer money to provide the incentives. Trump is basically saying, look, if you don't do this, you're not going to really do business in the United States. I mean, it's a lot cheaper, right?
Yeah.
And yes, there's going to be a transition period. To your point, Jackie, I think this takes a lot of guts. And I think Trump has that in spades. This is what he wants to accomplish. This is the way he's going to go about it. Yeah, there are going to be down days in the market. There's all kinds of uncertainty. I think the ultimate goal is so worthwhile.
Honda bringing jobs to the United States, chip makers making the chips here in the United States. Good for national security as well, Lee.
It's absolutely good for our country. And I think the one thing that I find so fascinating is we can watch the same piece of the news, and depending how you view the world, you're going to have a totally different reaction. So people today are going to be watching all of this and saying at home, some people are focused on the 25% tariffs and saying the economy is going to be in ruins. Other people are going to be looking at this Taiwan chips coming into the country and making an investment and the absolute excitement. I think the bottom line is we have to have some balance here in how we view things. This isn't Nothing is the end of the world. There's a lot of good to be looking at. There's so much opportunity that's happening in our country. And I think all the people are just looking at this saying everything is about the worst, or just looking at the stock market performance today. They're just short-sighted.
Yeah.
Lee Carter, Liz Peek, thanks
you.
so much for joining us. Always the best.
Thank you.